Over here, Daf Hashavua, Daf Yudalit Amid Beis. Nice crowd, Baruch Hashem. For some newcomers. You want some? It's still left over. Two. Let them. Is it two for you? Okay, very good. We're speaking about the 7. Was it 7 or 8 prophetesses? Who remembers? I think it was 8. Does anyone remember? Oh, she remember? See? There were here. Suleka. Oh, Arbo Shimon Nevim v'Sheva Nevios. I would have guessed 8. There were 7. Says the Gemara, we're down to the last one. Esther. How do we know that Esther was a Neviah? She was a prophetess. Because it says in the pasuk Vayhi Bayom HaShlishi, on the 3rd day, she was going into Achashverosh to beg for the life of the Jews of her nation. Vatilbash Esther Malchus. And she clothed herself in Malchus, in royalty. Says, ask the Gemara, you don't clothe yourself in royalty. You clothe yourself in clothing of royalty. Big day Malchus, mi boile. It should say big day Malchus. Ella rather. What does it mean? She lavashta ruach hakodesh. She clothed herself. When it says in royalty, it means ruach hakodesh, and we see that in a different place. Ksivach. It says over here by Esther, batilbash. She clothed herself. Ksivasam, and it says over there in Divrei Yamim, v'ruach lavsha samasai, and ruach in ruach. So we see that the ruach we're referring to here, our Gemara is trying to say that ruach means ruach HaKodesh. The Maharsha does point out that if you learn the psukim there, it doesn't actually mean that there, but still the idea of ruach going with lavsha does fit in. Amar Rav Nachman, lo ya Yerusa linashi, that Yerusa is not good for women. It's not a positive trait. So Rashi says it means chashivas. The Mefarshim say it means gaiva. So we're going to go just for our crowd. We'll just say it's gaiva. It means arrogance is not good, but Rashi's a little bit different than that for those that understand. So the Gemara says gaiva is not good. Gaiva is not good. Arrogance is not good in anybody. But women, it's even a midah that's less desirable in women. Linashi to women. Tarti nashi yehir and Havian. There were 2 women. Tarti nashi neviyasa. The Bachzik says there were 2 prophetesses that had a certain amount of arrogance. Usnai and Shemayu, and their names were Snai. They had names that showed it was the usos, that were mias, that were a little bit something disgusting about it, and that wasn't by mistake. Chada, one of the women prophetesses, Shema Ziborta, her name was Bee, like a bumblebee, a bee. V'chada Shema Karkushta, and the other one's name was a weasel. Okay, Ziborta, who was the bee, by the way? Neviah was a bee. Whose name was a bee? Devorah, very good. And whose name was the weasel was Chulda, we mentioned yesterday. So says the Gemara. Ziborta, when it comes to the bee, Devorah, it says, she sent and she called to Barak, she didn't go to him, she should have gone to him. Karkushta by Chulda, it's written by her. When she was sending a message to Yoshio Amelech, she said, Amru Leish, tell the man. V'lamru Amru Lamel. She didn't say tell the Melech. So these were, at least on their level, a fault that they acted with a certain amount of ichashivus. Amar Rav Nachman. Now the Gemara says one last Gemara, very interesting Gemara. It says like this: Amar Rav Nachman, Chulda mibnei banav shel Yoshua. Chulda was from the family, from the grandchildren of Yoshua Isa. How do I know? Ksivach, it says over here, when it speaks about Chulda, it says Ben Charchas. It says that when they went to Chulda, it says, the pasuk says, and I'm quoting, it says that Chilkiyoah Kohen and Achikim and Achbar, they all went to Chulda Neviah the wife of Shalom ben Tikva, the son of Charchas. So it mentions Charchas in regard to Huldah. Uksivasim, and it says in regard to in Yoshua, it says they buried him, but Timnat uses the same word. So it's coming to tell us that Huldah was related to Yoshua. Asked Rashi an obvious question. I would put it on the Daf of Shvuah test if I was writing it. And he asked, wait a second. It says that Huldah, when it speaks about that word for Huldah, it doesn't say she was the child of Charchas. It says she was the wife of Shalom ben Tikva, the son of Charchas, her father-in-law. So what does that have to do with her? You can her father-in-law to Yeshua. So Rashi says, and she's the subject of the pasuk, and there was no reason to mention the father-in-law, and she's the subject of the pasuk. That's why the Gemara connects it. Okay, says the Gemara a couple of more lines. The Gemara Rabbeinu Saba Rav Nachman. Rav Nachman just said that Huldah came from Yoshua. So ask Rabbeinu Saba Rav Nachman. Wait a second. We learned in a brisa that Huldah comes from Rachav Azona. Now, if she came from Rachav Azona, she didn't come from, assumingly, the Gadol Dar Yoshua. Especially, we're assuming now. I'm not going to go into Tosas Teretz. Okay, so that's the kasha. Eisvei Rabbeinu Saba Rav Nachman Shmona Neviim. There were 8 Neviim, Ve'im Kohanim, that were Kohanim. Yotzu me Rachav Azona, came from Rachav Azona. Ve'eluhain, and these are they: Neriah, Baruch, Suraya, Chilkiah, Hanamel, Vishalom. Those 8 people. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Af Huldah Neviah Mnei Bnei Asher Rachav. Even Huldah Neviah came from Rachav Azona Haisa. How do we know? It says over here in regard to Rachav Azona, in regard to Huldah, the same pasuk. Ben, her husband was Shalom ben Tikva. I said it was her father-in-law. Made a mistake. It was her grandfather-in-law. It was Charchas. Shalom ben Tikva ben Charchas. Her father-in-law was ben Tikva. Ksivas says over there when they were, you know the story when they had the rope that they were letting down the spies by they said that you'll let us down on this rope. It says as Tikva, the cord, chut shani, a thread of shani. What shani? It's a reddish thing, either crimson or scarlet. That was the message. Crimson or we worked it out with the 12th grade exactly what shani is. So therefore, they let them down on such a rope. But it says ben tikva. It says tikvas chut hashani. Uses that lashon. So we see that what that Huldah came from Rachav Azona. Who was Rachav Azona? She was the zona. Either she was an innkeeper or she was a zona, a harlot, or she was both. Amarle. So now we have a comment. Did she come from Rachav Azona or did she come from Yeshua? Amarle. So Rav Nachman said back to him, Eina Saba. He said back to him, Eina Saba, Varmila. And some say he said to him, Pasi Uchma, black vessel. Why would he call Eina Saba black vessel? Isn't that a little derogatory? So some say, there's different shatim, but some say we learned the Gemara in Tainus with Daf Hashavua that when a person is is a little uglier, if you have a Talmid Chacham, the Torah stays with him more because he has less arrogance. So he was really giving him a compliment in the true world, in the real world. Pasi Uchma, black vessel, would be a compliment. That's one of the pshatim. If I use what you're saying and what I'm saying, it comes out clear. Why? That these people in Huldah, at least Huldah, came from both of them. How could they come from both Yeshua and Rachav Azona? Anyone know? Before I say it, anyone want to guess? How could they come from both? Says the Gemara, the Garia, because Rachav Azona converted, V'nasva Yoshua, and Yoshua married her. And Yeshua married her. Okay, I think we could stop here. I just want to say one thing has to do, just go over, if there were any other questions, you go through the Gemara. I think that everything was pretty clear in regard to the test. It's more going over. And then today, 2 Rashis where Rashi asks questions. Have a wonderful